In 2010, I believe, I got casted for movie Predators, and I tell you all about it. Just 1 second. My character's name in the Predators was Nikolai. I named my character after my father, and Sarov also came up with my last name. It's actually the name of my city where I was born. Before modern Russia, it was during the Soviet Union time, was Arzamas 16, well-known city for scientists, for creators of nuclear bombs, all kind of rockets, all kind of spaceships, and anything, any sophisticated stuff which had to do with nuclear activity. So that's where I was born, and strangely, I ended up businessman, fighter, and then an actor. Well, what can you do? I want to be in physics. Well, I always want to get the Nobel Prize for it, but I guess I'm gonna have to live with the Oscar dreams, not more. Please, can you tell us about how did you get to your role in Nikolai in the Predators? Well, it's an interesting story, and it has some wisdom in it, I guess. A year before, I refused to be a part of the movie, of Spielberg's movie, Indiana Jones. After I read the script in Steven Spielberg's office, he left me for 2 hours. So then he came back and he asked me what I think, and I told him it was a very strange answer. I was like telling myself, "Oh, like, what are you doing? Why are you saying this?" I said, "Steven, I'm sorry, I just can't play this part. I mean, I feel it's just a wrong for a Russian person to play this. I know it's a cartoonish character, but I will feel embarrassed to come back to Russia, since it's a movie has taken place after World War II, and my character actually is a bad guy, and he's pretty greedy, and all his actions is all about the greed and getting power. So I wasn't agree with the motivations, and also my character was eaten by ants at the end, and getting punched in the face by Harrison Ford. So it was kind of too much to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I said to him, I got a friend who's an actor also, and he'll be perfect for it, because this guy is kind of cartoonish, and my friend can do it well. So especially he's bigger than Harrison Ford, and that's how Igor Zhizhikin ended up playing my part. To say that I was not feeling sorry a bit, say it means do not say anything. But most of all, I was feeling bad about me not being filmed in Hawaii. Actually, it was a city, Hilo, and they spent probably 2 months filming there. Then the rest, money was okay. It was nothing special. Similar to what I've got in the Predators after. So Igor, in a year, asked me, "Oleg, why don't you audition for a movie Predators?" Because I was visiting United States, LA, just getting my kids to school. It was like end of August, and I didn't want to go for any audition. I want to come back to Russia and do some boring stuff on TV. I was a host of some really horrible, dreadful show. I don't even want to mention about. I had to work on the minus 18 floor. People were smoking, getting sick all the time. Anyway, somehow I was drinking mate. That's what I'm drinking right now, by the way. And lots of vitamin C, so I was staying up. And I think for 2 weeks I was there. And then I got email after auditioning in LA, I got email, Oleg, you been casted. So far you are number one. There is no cast yet. It's definitely going to be Danny Trejo, but we don't know yet who else. It's still in the process. And I was, I mean, to say surprised and happy, say nothing. I called the producers. I say, guys, I'm sorry, don't pay me money, but I'm leaving. I think it was October 5th. I'm leaving. I mean, I got a dream job, and I gotta leave. And they were mad, but what can you do? So I got the flight ticket, and I was silly enough or happy enough when I looked at the ticket. I see I'm making a stop in Korea, in Seoul, and then I'm Honolulu, and I'm asking them, like, why am I flying through Seoul? Apparently, people who got the tickets didn't know much about Earth. They probably thought Texas is the center of the universe, and well, it was of course much quicker to go through San Francisco, for example, or even LA. Same thing, one stop, but cheaper and faster. But who cares? Anyways, it was a very interesting flight. I was only one person in the first class, and every time I want to scratch myself below my stomach, some waitress would come like, do you want something? Do you need something? I said, no, oh, I'm okay. So it was a memorable flight. Plus, when I wanted to visit my friends, I met at the previous airport Russian guys. They say, oh, like, do you always walk with an escort? And there was a 2 flight attendants behind my back. So anyways, they start treating me as a star, I guess, even before I landed. First, when I got to Big Island, so through Honolulu, I took a small plane. I ended up in Hilo. We had a dinner. Nimrat Antal, the director, introduced himself. Every single actor introduced himself, and somehow just me and Nimrat Antal, when I had a celebrate the beginning with a shot of tequila, everybody else said, oh, I don't drink. Eventually, of course, I found that's not true, but I guess me and Nimrat were only like truly not American actors, so we didn't have that little trick. It was not thought to lie about yourself when it comes to little habits. So what was it like firing a minigun, and have you had an experience with the firearms in the past? Of course I had experience. I was in the Russian army, but I was firing, launching the rockets. I was in in Russian it's called PVO. Basically, it's a system on the ground that prevent enemy planes to fly over your territories. It's anti plane army forces. And I was shooting actually all kind of guns. I was shooting even it's a Russian version, VSHK. It's a Degtярев system, huge automatic gun. It's even bigger than what I had in the movie. Bullets probably like that big. So, and of course just typical AK-47. And then after army, I was helping for some special troops to get down hands-to-hands fighting. So I was teaching at some seminars, at some camps where we had all military special little forces training. So those guys would let me shoot their weapons, and they had weapons from all over the world. So I'm pretty familiar with this one. But speaking of myself, I like more bows and arrows. Worst case scenario, it would be a crossbow. So I'm very close to nature person. But I gotta say a few words about minigun. So you're not supposed to carry this minigun. It's a movie trick. I have no idea how I end up with this minigun taken from helicopter on an alien planet, but that was maybe okay for Mars or some other planet where things are not as heavy. It was pretty heavy stuff, especially on the back. I had to carry the batteries to run this minigun, and fake bullets. They also been pretty heavy. So altogether, when I get them everything on myself, it comes to 80 kilograms. And but luckily, because of it, I was introduced to gravity boots, inversion table, and a neck pro system, which kind of stretches up your spine. So I did it every evening, because otherwise I probably would be handicapped in the first week after we start shooting. Because think about it, you not just walk with it, you run with it, and you got lots of roots on the ground, and plus palm trees and coconuts flying all over the place. As you probably heard, more people get killed in desert islands by, just islands, by coconut than in a car accident, for example. So it was pretty dangerous as well. And like I say, you can't really run anywhere. You see some things flying, before you move, you gotta look around to make first step. All right, so what does Nikolai says in Russian too? I knew that movie is gonna be very important for Russian viewers, because that would really be pleasant for them, like a first Russian hero, not just a good character, not just a good guy, but a Russian hero in a big Hollywood production, in a blockbuster. So I knew it's going to be important, and I used lots of lines from famous Russian films, like for example one "Ну и рожа у тебя, Sharapov," means what ugly face you got, Sharapov. It's from a famous TV series in Russia. This line was said by famous Russian folk singer Vysotsky, and of course this line was changed a little bit because of the copyrights, but still people would understand what I'm saying and where I'm kind of sending this, the idea, where idea comes from. So they were really appreciative. Plus I was talking about Stalingrad, and it's also kind of very patriotic line. Also brings your parallel to World War II, the Stalingrad battle, which Russians won, which was the first great victory, which changed the course of the World War II. So it's very important for Russians, and of course very pleasant for Russian ears to hear this. So, and all those lines were directed to address to predators one way or another. And unfortunately, it doesn't have the same meaning in English. Well, what can you do? But I'm still happy that most of the Arnold lines from the first film was given to me. Somehow, Adrien Brody, was probably not right, not correct to compare Adrien Brody to Arnold Schwarzenegger, but in my case it was logical. And when I look at the cast, by the way, I was first thing I started to lift weights heavily. I would work out twice a day and weight as heavy as I could possibly can, and gain probably like 10 pounds, 5 kilograms of muscles in the first week or so, because I thought that, you know, all the characters in the first film were pretty masculine, so we should have somebody same size, same approach in the Predators. Well, so it's for you to judge, was it right idea or wrong, but you know, that's what I had in my mind. So what was it like working with Adrien Brody and Lawrence Fishburne and the rest of the cast and the crew? Yeah, the guys were giving themselves 100%. Lawrence Fishburne, especially first day, that was a big show for us, actually, I would say, because I think it's only 6 of us in the film for a few months, and then suddenly you get a legend, you get Lawrence Fishburne, and he came up with his ideas of creating his character, and we watched it, we enjoyed it, and for me, first day I'm just watching, I'm like, I keep my eyes open, wow, that's what I would say in the first day. Second day he just ran down a little bit, but that's okay, he got the most important stuff on the first day. Well, Alicia Braga was eating pineapples because it has L-carnitine. I remember her eating pineapples, that's it, nothing else, and she always runs, she always been working out, so I'm like, that's what I remember her. Walton Goggins, great Walton Goggins, his famous line, at least for me, my favorite, when we had a little break between the battles, it was, when I get home, I'll do so much of fucking cocaine and I rape so many fine bitches. It'll be like, what time is it? 5 o'clock. Time to rape some fine bitches. So I love this line because it was really laughable. It's like dark comedy. We almost die and we have like few minutes to rest. And to hear this, it was hysterical. 5 o'clock, time to rape some fine bitches. Plus, for me, it's like first time I lost my minigun and I can finally enjoy my life. I just got little Russian pistol, Tate, and I remember I couldn't stop laughing every time I would hear this when I watch the film or just think about Walton Goggins or see him in the films. I always remember this line. It was hysterical. Well, Topher Grace, we connected. We made a connection on the first day and tried to keep it up through the whole movie to really get down the body, the friend relationship. I remember we were doing a scene after we came out of the waterfall from the water. We filmed jumping in Hawaii, but we were getting out in Texas in November, so I think it was snowy already, and the guys couldn't talk in the water. Think about Adrien Brody, who had probably 2% of body fat, and Walton Goggins also same thing, probably 1% of body fat. Of course, I'm just exaggerating, but I mean the guys. They couldn't talk. They're like, blah, blah, blah. So the director had to move the whole scene on the beach in Texas, of course, like I said. But it was still pretty cold, and we've done that scene. It was much easier, but we tried to do it in the water probably for first half of the day. Even that my little help to them, we were given swimsuits, but there was no swim socks. And it's the second time in Hollywood movies, people, wardrobe, think too much about the top, but they don't think about the bottom. And because they are from LA, they haven't seen a winter. And the first time I've seen this problem, I faced it in a movie national treasure when we had a really warm everything beside the shoes. And I used the Russian military technique, put the newspapers, a few layers of newspaper, then a plastic bag, then taped it around. So you kind of keep it dry and warm for a while, so it was okay. Mahershala Hashbaz Ali, I think I'm the only one I remember his name, full name, Mahershala. That's how he called by his mother. Everybody else called him Ali, but for me it was kind of important to learn all his names, so people smile or laugh when I call him, hey, Mahershala Hashbaz, let's go eat sushi. Mahershala Hashbaz, do you want to go lift weights? So he's a very talented guy, and I still also remember his speech, his southern African accent. In my country, the winner get the trophy. So he got the South African accent very well, and we also imitate him a lot. Just when we want to make fun of him or just joking around. Danny Trejo, I've done so many movies with Danny Trejo, even in Russia. Well, he's been great, Danny Trejo, over the years. You can't say much about it, but still, it was very funny to see him with two Mexican automatic pistols or guns. So in Tijuana, we burn people who owes money in the bucket. Well, he knew what he was talking about, definitely. Luis Azava Chechen, I also remember his last name, full name, because I just like to remember everything and I talk to people. And his mother is Japanese, father is from Taiwan. So family been selling teas, and he told me all about teas. It was like a Forrest Gump movie. He been telling me all about teas, and I was a spokesman for for some tea company after filming. And then they asked me, oh, like, why you got? Where do you got all this knowledge about the Japanese sencha or Chinese oolong, white tea or pu'er? So I got some teachers. So, and I really admire his contribution. He started to practice his fight scene with the super predators using his sword probably like a month before it, and he had a teacher, kendo teacher. He flew his kendo teacher, so he's always been thinking in like how he should, which kind of move he should use against the super predator. I remember him eating. I'm talking about the teacher, and he's still thinking. What's the best move would be in this case or that case, and how could make it more exciting. Well, did I miss anybody? I guess, yeah, I gotta say some few words about Adrian Brody. After the film, I took him for a festival to Russia, to my festival, which I did in Rostov, and the first festival in Ukraine. I got to know the guy better, and he's a very giving actor. He told me a story about how he played a piano player in a movie where he got the Oscar, and how much he was eating before, and how to work with the director. It was interesting, and Adrian is a very special person, and like I said, very giving actor. I think it's number one for him. The rest of the life, besides acting, is nothing really. He's pretty spiritual, and the guy who can travel on a bus through the India, or can stay in a super 5 star hotel in Paris. It doesn't matter to him. In fact, he would even stay in a small house in the jungle where we were filming. He would not go to the hotel after filming because he thought that would help him to become more character. A lot of people criticize the choice of Adrien Brody because, like I said, Arnold Schwarzenegger set up the direction, and people want to see bigger guys. But I think it was kind of cool approach that a normal person, a normal size person. So it's all about willpower. That's how you survive. It's not about muscles. So it was probably the right message. And acting wise, he did a great job. What can I say? What was your favorite Predator movie and movies? Well, I don't like to mix it together. Aliens and Predators movies. That's the first what I want to say. And to me, of course, the first Predator is everything. It's the movie I watched so many times. It's the reason why I have chosen to play movie Rollerball, because the director John McTiernan was a director of original Predator, and in my case, I was, I guess, very proud. You know, I got a chance to be first killer of a first super predator, and super predators, they were killing those puppies, which we call predators. So that's the one who actually committed suicide in Arnold film. Then Danny Glover, I guess, killed the first predator. But in my movie, if you remember, that guy was tied to a pole, totem, and we were looking at him as a future friend, future help. At least in Adrian's character, he came to him and asked him if he can fly that spaceship and be his partner to leave the planet. And in my case, well, I just see some poor thing tied to this totem, and then the first our fight with the super predators had started. Well, in the movie Rollerball, I was thinking, how should I take my death, how I play my death scene on the top of the plexiglass, and when we were playing the game. But I think John had forgotten, or it was not very important for him. So it was nothing special. Somebody just shot me, and I fell down, and the crowd was carrying me. But in the movie Predators, Nimrat Antal has given me all screen time, and it was pretty important for the movie how my character would kill the super predator. Reason why it's been done in a very Russian way, committing suicide and killing the enemy, is because the scriptwriter, the person who came up with all these ideas, was born in Kiev, Ukraine, or Soviet Union when he was 16, and his name is Alex Litvak. He's a friend of mine, and now these days, before I didn't know anything about him. So he watched all those Soviet films, and he collected all these heroic ways of bringing himself as a victim to the common goals. So he just brought this idea from Soviet film to the Hollywood blockbuster, and I blew myself up in a super predator at the same time, and saving my friends. Again, Russian viewers was very pleased to see this on the screen. So it's not like being eaten by ants. Till this day, I'm happy that I refused to do Indiana Jones, but end up finally playing Predator, where I was playing a heroic part. I was playing a hero, and most important for me at that time that I was staying in the same hotel where my friend Igor year before, but I was not playing evil guy, I was playing a hero. Same film time, money-wise, same money, and I can be proud of my character. So it's very interesting, you know, you refuse, you give your part, you advise your friend to best, one of the famous, most famous directors in the world, and in 1 year you're getting back even more. So it was very mystical, mysterious, very Zen situation, very Buddhist situation, or Indian Bhagavad Gita idea in it. So it shows how karma, how the universe works to me. So that's why I want to mention about. I'm still in the contact with most of the cast, and like I said, I work with Danny Trejo and Adrian Brody in some films in Russia. I was helping them with some films, film work and commercials in Russia as well. Well, other people just say hi on internet, and only Luis Azava and Alicia Braga, who we still talk constantly. Did I get to know the Predators, the Super Predators? Yes, I mean, I gotta say special thank you to the guys who are inside of the costumes. Think about, I mean, you get the platform probably that high, you gotta walk on, and all the rubber on you, it's heat, humid, you're sweating. I see the faces of those guys who play Predators. They got pimples all over the face, and they got all kind of problems, skin problems, because all rash, everything, because they had to spend from 8 to 12 hours in these costumes every day. And you definitely see the difference who's in a costume. If you see professional person, and when you see Super Predator face in front of you, you're already scared. You just know that's a danger. And if someone unprofessional person inside, you feel the difference. You're not scared. You just feel that there's some guy on Hollywood Boulevard trying to get a couple bucks to take a picture with you. So it's definitely great skills to be inside of this rubber or this costume and still be very dreadful, very dangerous. So I just wanna Casey Jones, Brian Steele, and Derek Mears. I wanna just you hear the names of those guys. How long did it take to shoot the movie? So Hawaii, it was almost 2 months. Then Texas, another 2 months. Texas in November. Texas, of course, it's most of the scenes that were indoor scenes, or when we came to the totem, when we came to the place which with some sacrifices, with some just bodies, bones all over the place. You know, the place was created in Hawaii, but it was moved to Texas as well. And some also exterior shots, which were, remind you, Alien Planet was also shot in Texas. If you remember that lakes in the rocks, somewhere like in a rock area, like small lakes. It was shot in Texas, I remember. And of course, the place it's called Waipea Valley. When we came to the side of the cliff, and I see, I think it was like 2 moons or 3 moons, and 2 suns, and it was definitely you can see that it's an alien plane. On the first realization, we are not on Earth. It was a shot in Waipea Valley, Valley of Kings, Hawaiian Kings, one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Okay, so could I tell you about my career, Ultimate Fighting? No, Ultimate Fighting, you know, I was fighting there for 1 year. I came to United States to be an actor, and for this year, I was able to become a world champion, Ultimate Fighting number 6. I even got excited about getting a second fight with a guy named Dan Severn at UFC number 5. They took my victory away, that's my belief. And I made a draw with Ken Shamrock at UFC number 7, just to have a chance to fight Dan Severn in first Ultimate, which was a big deal at that time. Champions against champions. Ultimate. And after that, I'm done. So after, I remember I got a small part in the movie Air Force One, and I saw the difference between big movie, real movie, A-class movie, and some couple of movies I shot before, because like I said, I was pretty famous and I got invited to do the movie. But like I said, there was a B-class movie, and I thought, that's it, my life is happening. And then I got a little part in a big movie, and I see the difference, so I want to study. I told myself, hey, if I study martial arts for 18 years prior to the winning, even more actually, I should study acting at least half of that time. So that's how I ended up in the Playhouse West. And Sambo was my original sport. Judo was actually even before Sambo. And when I got to the United States, I got the chance. It was actually the last time I fought in a judo competition. It was an Open California Championship. So I won in my division, 95 kilos in the open division. And there was another one when they count only Vazari or Ippon. I won 3 times. I was hungry, skinny, hungry. It was probably in a month since I came to the United States. Yeah, that was my last judo competition. Do you have any funny stories that happens on the set, or anything interesting that you could share with us? Something interesting happens when we had the days off, and all cast, all crew went to the more sunny side of Hawaii for some diving. And I remember from the first look, I didn't like the lady who was working in a rental company. Something about her, there was like, after conversation we had, and I just asked a simple question, like, are you going with us also as well? She just said like, yes. You have any problem with it? I say, no problem, but I don't want to get your stuff. I want to just snorkel. I don't need any balloons. I don't want to dive. Thank you so much. You've been very nice to me, to your customer. And as soon as we reached a certain place where there was a rock, was actually some cliff nearby, like in a swimming distance, even closer. Our boat has broken down. There was something wrong with the engine, and they were fixing that engine for 3 hours. And guys, we just had some drinks on the board. I was swimming, like I said, snorkeling. Some guys tried to dive, but it was nothing interesting. And that place was nothing in the water to see, really. So, but 3 hours we spent just on the boat. Next day we got the yellow papers. Adrian Brody, at that time he already had the muscles. He was eating, lifting weights. He looked good at the time. He got 8 packs and definitions, and he got bigger. He looked good here, but somehow, on those pictures you could see big belly, being fat, skinny arms. So for 3 hours paparazzi was taking pictures, and that lady was involved in it. So of course she got paid to do all this comedy, to have the boat broken, and broken not somewhere but at a special place where I guess the camera guy was, paparazzi was ready to take pictures. And it was disgusting, honestly. I mean, I guess I read people very well, and that lady, I still see her face. It was very unpleasant, and she also done very heinous, unpleasant stuff. So I was right about not to rent any equipment from her company. Stories, we had many stories actually, but my favorite one, at the time we had a volcano activity on the Big Island. There was a volcano, lava going all the way to the ocean and falling down, making big splash. But you can get close, you only get the boat and can come close on a boat, and especially at night it was not impossible, because the only access you had, like I said, through the land. But American way, they would stop the car and say, hey, now you just walk for another 100 yards, and they say, you guys watch there, it's lava, and you see some red spots somewhere on the horizon. So you don't see any splashes, you don't see the beach, you don't see all this action. And of course I was not happy about it. And I told the wardrobe person, I'm not gonna say who, but it was my favorite wardrobe person. She created my costume, and she even dressed as a Nikolai at a rock party. I say, hey, I have a rational way to watch the lava. I took the way off-road to the beach, and when dressed, I keep myself barefooted, because when you get too close to lava, you gotta feel that the ground is really hot, so you don't get too close, so you don't fall into the lava, because some people die. And there were a lot of cases like this. When you have shoes, you don't feel that it's really hot. It can just break and you burn. That's it. So we decided to walk barefooted, like I say, and gladly we had probably a couple bottles of white wine, just to make this little walk more enjoyable. It took hour and a half for us to get all the way close to the place where it was too hot already to make another step. But you can see all this red, boiling volcanic lava falling in the ocean. It's one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen in my life. And we also decided to dress as a hippies of 90s. And when we saw a few Japanese ladies on our way, they were kind of embarrassed to look at me, so they would close their eyes. But main mainly we didn't see anybody. It was only like few people on the way. Well, that's probably all I want to say. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Have a great day and enjoy to watch the movie with your kids. Cheers.